One of the biggest questions asked whenever there's a brand new Mario Kart is about the characters. Who's gonna get into the new roster? As well as others, like what new characters will we see, and will there be more baby characters? So let's talk about them. Ahoy folks, and welcome back to another video. This time around, we're gonna be talking all about this potential roster of the brand new Mario Kart game. But if you haven't already checked out my in-depth analysis from the game's reveal, make sure you do, as I'm going to be building off of information that I went over in that video. So first, let's refresh ourselves on the 24 characters already confirmed to be in the game. We already have Mario, Luigi, Bowser, Peach, Yoshi, Toad, Daisy, Rosalina, DK, Wario, Koopa Troopa, Pauline, Waluigi, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Baby Peach, Baby Daisy, Toadette, King Boo, Shy Guy, Birdo, Baby Rosalina, Lakitu, and Bowser Jr. So if there's already 24 characters confirmed for the game, and that's how many players are in a race, just how many characters are we gonna get in total? Well, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, after the Booster Course Pass DLC, has a total of 48 characters, or 50 if you count the variants of the Inklings and Villager. So let's assume that at launch, the base roster of this game is going to be about the same, not counting any potential DLC to come later. But before we really get into any of my predictions, I need to talk about the crossover characters. Mario Kart 8 added 3, arguably 4 crossover characters as DLC: Link, Isabelle, and male and female villagers. The deluxe port pushed this further by including male and female Inklings, each with their own set of alternate colors. That's 6 crossover characters, half of a full set of drivers in a race. And these characters were added with very specific intent: marketing. Mario Kart sells a lot. It's incredibly successful. So adding characters and courses from other IPs to grant exposure and get players curious about those games makes a ton of sense, especially back during the Wii U era, where Nintendo was really struggling. Zelda and Animal Crossing are often depicted alongside Mario as some of Nintendo's core IP, and since the start of the Switch, we've seen Splatoon alongside them as well. Pikmin is also grouped in with these IP. So, with that in mind, if this new Mario Kart is a launch title for the Switch 2, then I absolutely expect it's going to be used to promote Nintendo's IPs beyond Mario, just not to an overwhelming degree. I'm confident we're going to see something similar to what Mario Kart 8 has, maybe even in the base game, not saved for DLC. Some crossover courses and characters mixed in with everything, though a game that's still predominantly Mario focused. If we follow the precedent of Mario Kart 8 of half of a race could be made up of crossover characters, slightly more if you count the crossover Mii costume, then I believe we're looking at around 12 crossover characters in total for the roster. This may include alternate costumes or other forms as well. Now, I've got 3 different rosters for you here: my predictions, my hopes, and my pipe dreams, each with 26 characters to bring the new Mario Kart's roster up to 50 characters. So first, let's talk about my predictions. These are the characters that I believe are the most likely to get into the game, whether I want them or not. I'm reasonably confident that we're going to see a good amount of these characters show up. As outlined in my analysis, we have the 7 Koopalings: Larry Koopa, Iggy Koopa, Morton Koopa Jr., Lemmy Koopa, Ludwig von Koopa, Wendy Koopa, and Roy Koopa. I already went over why I expect them back in my analysis, so I'm not really going to detail it here, but I'd be kinda shocked if they weren't in this game. Also detailed in my analysis is Nabbit, bringing us to 8 characters so far. Nabbit was already playable back in Mario Kart Tour, so it really wouldn't be that surprising to see him actually come back and be a more prominent character. He's in Mario Wonder, so he's around. Next, I've got Kamek, who was in Mario Kart Tour and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's DLC. Originally snubbed from Mario Kart 64, Kamek finally made it to Mario Kart. It makes sense that Kamek would stick around. Also, was in the recent Mario movie, so it makes sense that Kamek would kinda stick around with a heavier presence. Next up is Poochie. Let's be real, who doesn't love Poochie? And the fact that Poochie was a playable character in Mario Kart Tour made me very happy. What didn't make me happy is the fact that he was left out from Mario Kart 8's DLC. So, what the heck, Nintendo? Put Poochie back in the game. In all honesty, I think Poochie's pretty likely because it's another character from the Yoshi series, and Poochie was kind of a really weird pick for Mario Kart Tour, all things considered, that I feel like they wouldn't go through the effort of adding if they weren't intending on keeping him around for future games. At least, personally, that's how I feel. Next up after Poochie is King Babam. King Babam is one of my favorite additions to Mario Kart Tour. Sadly missed out on the Mario Kart 8 DLC, but he's kind of been getting around lately in games. He was also introduced in Mario Golf Super Rush, so he's had a few playable appearances lately. And it wouldn't surprise me if that means he's kind of due for more. I mean, King Boo is a Mario Kart mainstay at this point, so it would be kind of interesting to get more of these King characters in other, enemy rulers as part of the roster. Next up, we've got some Kongs, being Diddy Kong and Funky Kong, both back from, well, they're both mainstay veterans, they've been in quite a few games at this point. It was great getting them in the Mario Kart 8 DLC, but now that Diddy and Funky have come back, I would be kind of surprised if they didn't come back again. But they're not the only Kongs on this roster, because I also think Dixie Kong will come back from Mario Kart Tour. I'm kind of surprised that she wasn't included in Mario Kart 8 DLC. She's one of the main Donkey Kong characters, so I suspect that she's going to be here again. I don't think she's going to be trapped in Mario Kart Tour. If there's any Tour characters that I see coming back that wasn't in 8, put Dixie at the top of that list. Next up, one more Kong. One more. And it's one that's not been playable in Mario Kart before, and that's Cranky Kong. He's got a big presence in the Mario movie and is also at Super Nintendo World. And of course, was one of the other playable characters in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. At that point, we'd have the whole main Donkey Kong cast, in terms of the Kongs at least, playable in Mario Kart. And I think that's pretty likely. Plus, Cranky even has a little emblem already, which was used in the voice cast reveal for the Mario movie. So, it's kind of a Mario Kart emblem. I think Cranky's coming. Okay, moving on from the Kongs, the next addition I have on here is Prince Florian from Super Mario Bros. Wonder. He'd be a perfect new lightweight character, and probably one of the lightest characters, but also because he plays a pretty big role in Mario Wonder. It would be great to get him back, and he even already has a voice. So it would be great to get him in Mario Kart, and he'd be pretty different from most other characters, even if, sure, he's basically a little wiggler. I think it'd be great to get that little guy in. Give him a shot. But in addition to Prince Florian, I've got another pick for Mario Wonder here, and hear me out, this is gonna be kind of weird, Elephant Mario. Again, hear me out. This would be a new heavyweight version of Mario, and more than what's basically just a texture swap in the form of Meta Mario. Okay, I know Meta Mario has his own animations and voice clips, but this might be a more interesting way of getting a heavyweight Mario in the game than just having Meta Mario. Make Meta Mario a costume for Mario or something now, and have this elephant transformation version of Mario with completely new animations and new style be a whole new character here. I think given that we've had like Tanuki Mario in Mario Kart 8, power-ups are not out of the question for Mario Kart characters. And I think Elephant Mario would make one of the most interesting ones because it's probably one of the most obvious ways to have a heavyweight Mario in a more interesting cartoony way than just giving him the metal texture. But now, we get into the crossover characters. First up, I think Link, Villager with male and female variants, Inkling with male and female variants, and Isabelle are all going to come back. It makes sense that they would all come back, though maybe they get updated designs. Maybe Link would be Tears of the Kingdom Link, and the Villagers would be based on Animal Crossing New Horizons, and maybe the Inklings would be based on different Splatoon games, not just the originals. So instead of getting a few color variants, maybe they get, the box art Inklings, for example, just to represent Splatoons 1, 2, and 3, and that still has 6 Inklings in total then. Next up on here, I have Olimar. Like I said before, Pikmin is considered one of Nintendo's core IPs. You can find Pikmin anywhere at Nintendo. There's hidden Pikmin all throughout Super Nintendo World. Even though Pikmin was only represented through a Mii costume in Mario Kart 8, I'm pretty confident this time around it's gonna get a character. And it's very likely Olimar. Next up is Zelda. And to be honest, since Villager and Isabelle were added together, it was always kind of weird to me that Zelda wasn't here with Link. Most likely, this would be an iteration of Zelda to match with Link. So, if we get Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom Link, it's probably going to be the same Zelda to go with him. Or maybe we'll get a version of Zelda based on Echoes of Wisdom, which would be kind of cool. Although, I hope they don't make her super chibi, because the chibi Zelda from Echoes of Wisdom paired with, Tears of the Kingdom Link, it's going to be kind of weird together. Okay, moving on to the next character, we have Captain Falcon. With 2 F-Zero courses in Mario Kart 8, the Blue Falcon is a cart in several Mario Kart games, and even a Mii costume of his outfit, it's time for Captain Falcon to just get in Mario Kart already. Since we've seen a rise in attention to the F-Zero IP with F-Zero 99 in recent years, it just feels more plausible than ever now. Next up, another one you gotta hear me out for, is Springman and Min Min. Maybe as alt costumes of each other, similar to like Link in Breath of the Wild Link or something like that, taking up the same menu slot. Sure, Nintendo may not be trying to push ARMS much, and this may seem like a really weird pick with some of the other ones that I mentioned already. But remember, ARMS was made by Mr. Yabuki and the Mario Kart team. So if there was anywhere that they would bring ARMS back outside of a brand new game, it's Mario Kart. It just makes the most sense. And you pick the poster child of the game, that's Springman, and what's considered the most popular character of the game, Min Min. She won the tournaments, she got in Smash. You pick those two, they're the most recognizable. Finally, character number 26, the 50th character of this roster, is Samus. Makes sense, helps promote Metroid Prime 4. I don't really have a lot to say on Samus other than I'm not really sure how she's gonna drive with the gun arm on one hand, but I don't know, she can one-hand everything. She's capable enough. But Samus also seems kind of likely to me, just like Captain Falcon and some of the others here. And those are the 26 characters that I predict will be in the new game, complete with 12 crossover characters if we count the variants of Villager, Inkling, and Min Min as separate from Springman. So if those are my predictions, then what are my hopes? Well, before we get to those, let me shout out a few characters that you want to see in the game. If you become a channel member for even just $1 a month, you'll gain access to these member-exclusive posts, as well as my community Discord server, where I may spotlight your input in these videos. Such as Simpson703, who wants to see Zelda from Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom, or Rob return from Mario Kart DS. And that's actually a really cool pick, I would like to see that. Or PK Rockin', who wants to see Baby Yoshi. And okay, honestly, that'd be really cute though. Anyway, moving on to my second roster. This next set are characters that I hope make it into the game, though are also characters that I believe have a decent shot. I wouldn't say they're locks or super likely or anything like that, but I think they have reasonable chances. I can quantify the fact that they feel reasonable. So first, let's carry over a few veterans from my predictions that I do hope make it in. Poochie, Nabbit, Kamek, King Babam, Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, and Dixie Kong. Next, we have Hammer Bro, who was in Mario Kart Tour and he had all the different variants, the Ice Bro, Fire Bro, Boomerang Bro, but didn't make it to Mario Kart 8. And I was a little sad about that, because Hammer Bro was originally supposed to be in Mario Kart Wii. So it was great getting him in Tour, but it's a little sad that he missed out. Next, we have Monty Mole, a character that was a complete surprise addition to Mario Kart Tour, and I love Monty Mole. Monty Mole's great. Monty Mole's also a fantastic character in the recent Mario Party games. But again, didn't come back in Mario Kart 8. So you know what? Let's get some Mario Kart Tour love in here. Let's talk about some more veterans from Mario Kart, whether it's a Mario Kart Tour or Mario Kart 8, that between both of those games got in and should stick around. So on top of those ones I already mentioned, Dry Bones. Why isn't Dry Bones already in this game? Dry Bones is a beloved character, and people love the fact that he got added to the original Mario Kart 8 through 8 Deluxe. So don't cut Dry Bones, keep him around. PD Piranha and Wiggler are the next two, and I love both of these characters. Getting them back in Mario Kart Tour and also in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was so special to me because I love their original roles. I love these characters and their previous Mario Kart entries, and I want them to stick around again. Next up is Honey Queen. Unironically, I would love for her to come back, as I played her a lot in Mario Kart 7. And I was sad to see her miss out on returning in Mario Kart Tour. She's one of the few veterans who didn't come back. Besides, she's a great quirky pick for Mario Kart. She's as weird as PD Piranha was when he was added to Double Dash. And I'd rather fun quirky picks like her over more babies in metal forms. Plus, Honey Queen in Mario Galaxy was originally made to showcase the graphics of her fur and all. So could you imagine if that was done here again in the new Mario Kart on Switch 2? Like, just this really fuzzy bee driving a cart, not in 3DS graphics? I don't know, I think there's something kind of special about that, and I want to see her come back. Next up, we have a newcomer. We've got Ninji. Ninji has been making quite a few appearances in recent years, including Mario Party Jamboree, of course, as a new character to the party, and Mario Golf Super Rush as one of the update characters. I say, it's time for Ninji to get behind the wheel. It was really weird that Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart Tour introduced Ninja Hideaway, this big, ninja-themed course, and only added Ninja Shy Guy. Didn't add Ninji. Ninji was nowhere to be found, in fact. Get Ninji in now. Apologize for not including Ninji and Ninja Hideaway, Nintendo. Next up, I have Prince Florian once again because, in addition to thinking he's likely, I think he'd be fun. I think it's a fun way to add a new lightweight character. But after Prince Florian, I've got Foreman Spike. With his redesign from the Mario movie, I would love to see him make an actual appearance in games again. I think it's a great time to do so now that people know the character again. And once again, thanks to the movie, he's even got an emblem already, which was used in his casting reveal for the film. So let's get Foreman Spike in. Come on, I think it'd be great. Next up, we have what's probably an obvious one for me, and probably shocking that I didn't say it anywhere earlier in this video, Luma. Playable in Mario Tennis Open and Mario Tennis Aces, and for some reason, exclusively the Mario Tennis games. Seriously, let these little fellas do more than just play tennis. Let them race. They don't accompany Rosalina as much anymore, so get them in a cart as well. And since they've been playable in other games before, Mario Tennis, I don't think it's unreasonable. Though I won't pretend, I don't think Luma's particularly likely either. Okay, next up, Mallow and Gino. I know, but hear me out. Since the Super Mario RPG remake a couple years ago, they finally have good, recent 3D models. And it would be great to see them start to appear in spin-offs now that the game is finally relevant again, and the remake did really well too. Plus, since they have ties to Square Enix, they're practically kind of crossover characters too. In all honesty though, getting any sort of Mario RPG characters would be a dream come true for me. And these two in particular feel more likely now than they ever did before. But they're not the only Mario RPG characters here on this list. Because next I have Starlo. My fans know that I'm not really a big fan of Starlo in the Mario & Luigi series. I think she's too mean to Luigi in most of them. But she is the recurring character for the series. She's in most of the games. So if anyone from these games were to appear in spin-offs, I'd argue Starlo makes perfect sense and would be pretty reasonable too. And with Mario & Luigi Brothership, she even has a 3D model now too. Truthfully, I would just love to see the Mario & Luigi series get represented in Mario Kart, and I think Starlo is probably the easiest way for Nintendo to do that. Sure, she doesn't have arms, but that didn't really stop King Boo from driving without feet to reach the pedals, or Goomba from playing Mario Party, did it? And now we're up to the crossover characters, all of whom are ones from my predictions that I would personally like to see, and like I said before, seem pretty likely too. So I'm not going to get into the thick of them in this case, but we've got Link, Inkling in the male and female variants, Villager in the male and female variants, Isabelle, Zelda, and Olimar. There's less than 12 of them here, and that's because, personally, I would rather see Mario Kart pull from the farthest reaches in the Mario franchise before it overpopulates with crossover characters. But I don't mind a few of them, honestly. And that brings us to my pipe dreams. These 26 characters are, you give me control of the Mario Kart roster and told me, add who you want. These picks are what I'd call my dream roster of additions, regardless of likelihood. But picks that I think would still make for a fun, exciting game for everyone. And I made sure to still include a few crossover characters as well. To start, I've got a few picks on my hopes that make it into this list as well. I'd love to see these characters show up again. I've explained them in the earlier sections, so there's no reason to do so again here. We've got Poochie, Petey Piranha, King Babam, Kamek, Honey Queen, Prince Florian, Mallow, and Gino. And next up, bringing Luma back again, but I want to make a point here to say that I want Luma to also have alt colors. Both of Luma's playable appearances are just the yellow Luma. Give us the alternate colors this time too, please? Next up, and probably staying true to the idea of the pipe dreams here, is Paper Mario, who would obviously be the lightest character in the game. Seriously, Paper Luigi even has his cart from Mario Kart 8 in both Paper Mario Color Splash and Paper Mario the Origami King. So get Paper Mario in as a new character, or Paper Luigi since he has his cart, I'd take that too. Next up, Vivian, whether in a new 3D form or in her paper form. She would be another woman racer, and a really unique one in a species that's only really ever in the one Paper Mario game, and she's iconic to that game at this point. Add her in, I think it'd be great. Next up, we have Miss Mouse, because the same goes for Miss Mouse just like Vivian, but the Little Mousers as species have appeared outside of the Paper Mario games too. So Miss Mouse would make for a fun lightweight character, since she's recurring in the Thousand Year Door, and even a partner. So both of these two would actually be pretty fun, I think. But I got one more character from Paper Mario here, and that's Lord Crump, who would be a new heavyweight villain character. He'd be fun and comical like Wario, and whether he'd be 3D or paper, I just think he'd be a lot of fun to have. Just imagine what his different tricks would be, and you can even give him a cart based on Mangus von Grapple. I just think it'd be really fun. Next, we have Professor Egad. Seriously, it's still shocking that we haven't had him ever in Mario Kart, even though he was planned for Mario Kart DS. If any character from the Luigi's Mansion games were to ever get into Mario Kart, it should be Egad first and foremost. He's in all of them, and he's even been in quite a few other Mario games. So get him in Mario Kart. It's well deserved. Moving on to another old man, Toadsworth. Get this old man out of retirement. Enough said. Next up, moving into a different series of Mario RPGs that I clearly have a bias towards and love a lot, I have Prince Peasley, who's my personal favorite character from Mario & Luigi's Superstar Saga. He even had a cameo reference in Brothership. And I chose him because, like Prince Florian, it would be neat to have more characters of royalty that aren't villains, and would add some fun variety to the mix. But in addition to Prince Peasley, the next character I have on here is Fawful. Does he even need an introduction? He's a fan favorite character from the Mario & Luigi series, an iconic villain of the Mario series, being honest here, and it would be great to get him in here. Next, I've got Starlo on here again. I already went over her before, but again, if there's any Mario & Luigi representation at all, she should be there, whether I personally like her or not. I'd be happy to have her, honestly. And the last of the Mario RPG characters for this list is Connie, who's a major character in Mario & Luigi Brothership. It would be great to see her having fun in Mario Kart. Also, marketing for a very recent game. I think it makes a lot of sense. But we are in my pipe dream section. Next up, we have Cappy. Honestly, it's shocking that he hasn't appeared outside of Mario Odyssey in anything. No, I don't count the little cameo reference in Mario's moveset in Smash. But give Cappy his little true ghost form. But for different tricks, he turns into various hats from the game. I think he'd be really cute, and it would just be a good time to have Cappy in here. Now we are into crossover characters. And first up, I've got Toon Link. Seriously, replace whatever adult Link is in Mario Kart with Toon Link, my personal favorite iteration of the character. Personal bias aside, the reason is because I think he fit better with this new art style and cartoony direction of the new game. He's very expressive and very cartoony, and I think he'd fit that better than most other forms of Link. Next up, we have Big Man from Splatoon 3. Yeah, Inklings are cool and all and whatnot, but I would love to see Big Man behind the wheel. I think it'd be hilarious, but also his tricks could bring out other members of Deep Cut to dance with him. And also, he's another heavyweight, which would be good, and most Inklings and Octolings are medium weights, so it kind of balances out to something more fun in that case, I think. Next, I have Captain Falcon. Like I said before, it's his time. Enough said there. Next, we have Tom Nook. And if we're looking for an Animal Crossing representative, I'd say give it to Tom Nook this time after his importance in New Horizons, and how much that game took off. Alright, we're down to 2 characters, and these are fun ones in my opinion. The first of these is Pac-Man. Seriously, he's in 3 Mario Kart Arcade GP games. He's a Mario Kart veteran, even though not on consoles. Put Pac-Man in. Plus, because Bandai Namco plays a huge role in making these Mario Kart games. They assist in the development of these games. So it would be great to see Pac-Man get to show up because of this, and actually make the arcade games feel like they mean something. Finally, I have Sonic the Hedgehog. I just think it'd be fun to get Sonic in here. I want a fun, solid crossover between Mario and Sonic that isn't just Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. I think getting Sonic in here would be great. He's got his own set of racing games. Just bring him and his car over here, and it's just some fun crossover promotional thing. Come on, I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be silly, I think it'd be great. Now, I didn't include them in this list, but I do think that the Mii characters will be back with a bunch of different costumes. I don't know, maybe they'll be down here in the corner, much like they were in the character select screen of Mario Kart Wii or Mario Kart 7. I just don't really like them in the grid with the rest of the characters like we had in Mario Kart 8. So, somewhere down here. And there you have it, my predictions, hopes, and pipe dream character rosters for Mario Kart on the Switch 2. That's 3 whole potential rosters, each with notable differences. Realistically, while I'm most confident in my predictions roster, we have no idea what will actually happen. Maybe we see a roster of 60 plus characters, and some of my picks from all 3 rosters show up. But if not a single one of these characters from any of these 3 rosters show up, I don't know, maybe I rethink this whole content creation thing because maybe I don't know what I'm talking about after all. But hey, that's the fun of speculation, right? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Which of my 3 rosters do you think is most likely? In general, what characters do you want to see in this new Mario Kart? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for plenty more gaming goodness from me, including a ton more on this new Mario Kart. Until next time, farewell everyone.